Have you ever made a decision or needed to make a decision that completely changed your life? Well, that's what I'm about to do, and I'm shit scared. For the last 3.5 years, I've been traveling around Australia in this motorhome, which I love so much. I've been through pretty serious deserts. I've followed the coastline. I've had some amazing places to camp along the coast, and there's a lot of coastline in Australia. I've also been through the deep water crossings in the rainforest. There's been so much that I've seen and experienced in Australia, and I've done it a few times now. I hate to say it, but I've traveled around Australia on a motorbike and in a motorhome, and the man that brought me to this country was an adventurer on the Travel Channel, so we saw a large part of Australia that way as well. I never thought I'd sell it. I've never wanted to sell it. This motorhome is my home. Like, it's my life, it's my adventure partner, it's my safe haven. I'm very attached to my motorhome. I would totally take this motorhome with me if I could, but it's just not practical. The height is 3.1 meters, meaning it can't go in a shipping container, which means it would have to be roll on, roll off on a ship, sort of like a ferry, but long term and long distance. And my research shows that it's pretty well guaranteed to get damaged, and thieves tend to break into them because it's exposed. It's exposed to the elements, it's exposed to people. And that didn't appeal to me because this is not a cheap motorhome. Another big thing is it's a right-hand drive vehicle, and the majority of countries are left-hand drive. So, logistically, the cost, there's so many things that have thrown me off shipping this overseas, but that was my intention. I actually started off completely planning to ship this to Africa. Africa is just like the next continent over. And I thought, oh, I could put this on a boat here in Perth in Western Australia, ship it over to South Africa, which is sort of straight across, but interestingly enough, there are no ships that go from Australia straight across. Every single one of them, I've talked to several shipping agents, ship up to Asia, transfer boats, and then ship it down. Some people fear change, but I crave it. I love my house. I still own that house. I have tenants in it. I needed a change. I couldn't just go and live the same life every day, experience the same weekends every weekend. I need to be in a state of change, and that threw me out the door and sent me around the world. And then when I came back, I went back to my regular life, hoping that that got out of my system and I would settle back into my job and my home again. And I felt very, very unsettled. So I changed again. I bought a house in a remote location in South Australia in a fishing village. And I did a little Airbnb there. And that was fantastic. I loved that change until I didn't. The time came to make a big change. I sold that house and bought this motorhome. And I've been enjoying the heck out of that. I've done it for 3.5 years, and now it's like, what's next? What's next? Change, change, change. I'm going to change again. And to do that, I have to let go. And letting go means selling the love of my life, this motorhome. Like, I'm in a place now where I need to experience new cultures. I want to experience different landscapes, different languages, and that's what I'm craving now. So what will this challenge look like? Well, when I sell this motorhome, I'll have to work around getting my last bits and pieces taken care of before I get on an airplane, probably in a rental car, I assume. And then I need to fly overseas. Right now, I'm looking at where I could possibly purchase a motorhome in a foreign country as a non-resident. That's a challenge. And then a gigantic challenge is shipping Cody Cowboy with me. My neighbors have offered to keep Casper, and Casper doesn't cope well in the motorhome in general. To know that he's going to be in a house and in a yard that he knows with people that he knows makes me happy. And for only a couple of years, I do feel that's the best choice because I don't think he'd cope with cargo, airline, overseas. And then, as I said, he just doesn't like traveling in a motorhome anyway. So I'm putting him through too much. But Cody Cowboy, on the other hand, he loves people. He's going to love being in cargo because he'll probably get lots of attention. So why am I making this video about change? I feel like it was to convince myself that I'm making the right decision, and now that I've said all of this out loud, I do feel like I am. Or maybe I'm making this video to convince you to face any fears and embrace change, because life isn't meant to be on repeat. It's meant to be an adventure. Actually, Helen Keller said that life is an adventure or it's nothing at all. And that quote has completely and thoroughly always resonated with me. I've known that quote for many years, and it's so true for me. And I'm wondering if it's true for you as well. But here I am. I'm about to sell it. I met with a couple today that offered me a fantastic price, and I've agreed to the terms. They're about to pay me a deposit, and that scares me. But at the same time, the thought of making this massive change excites the crap out of me. So if I can be so blunt, as daunting as this all sounds, I actually can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I know there's a heck of a lot of issues that are going to come along, like how to transfer my money to pay for a foreign vehicle in a foreign country. I know that there's a lot of problems coming up, but the change of, which is what I'm talking about here, the change excites me. Like doing it, the adventure of it all, that all excites me. What's the biggest change you ever made? And was it worth it? If you've ever struggled with change, drop me a comment below. I would love to hear about what your huge changes were, what your challenges were, and how you overcame them. If you're curious where I'm going, subscribe, because this adventure is only getting started, and I'd love you to come with me. See you on the road somewhere out there in the world. Happy travels.